Welcome to my 32-week update. So as of today, Sunday, I am now 32 weeks pregnant, which is so exciting. I know I say that every single week, but 32 weeks is definitely another milestone, considering 32 weeks is actually the average gestation for a pregnant woman carrying triplets, if that makes sense. So now that I have made it this far, I feel like I can just get through the next 22 days until these babies are here. So this week I've had 2 doctor's appointments, and I'm not sure if I mentioned before, but I see 2 separate doctors. One is the doctor for the babies, and then the other is the doctor specifically for me. The doctor that is specifically for me is the doctor that works with the hospital. So they just monitor me. They make sure that I have no preeclampsia going on. They just make sure that I'm doing healthy. My overall well-being is good. As far as the baby's monitoring, that is what maternal fetal care does. So that's the other doctor that I'm seeing, and I see them once a week. In the hospital I see every 2 weeks. Now I'm at the point where I'll just see them once a week until I deliver. So anyway, with that being said, at both doctor's appointments, they went very well. At first I started at the hospital, and I was finally given my C-section date. So all along I've known that it was going to be between February 6th and February 13th, because that's between 35 and 36 weeks. But we really just needed to schedule it with the hospital. So since I finally had my appointment, we are all set for February 6th. And I'll be 35 weeks and 1 day at that point. I'm so excited because in my brain, ever since the very beginning, since I was told I'll have them between 35 and 36 weeks, in my brain, the date has just always been February 6th. So the fact that we were able to schedule it then and the doctor is available and will be at the hospital at that time is great. Now at my other doctor's appointment, the one for the babies, I'm seeing them every week now, like I mentioned, and they don't do measurements every single week, but they do the biophysical profile every week, and that's just to make sure that the babies have enough fluid, they're breathing, or they're practicing their breathing, and they're just moving enough, because once there's so much less room in there, it just gets difficult for them to move. So we were able to see all 3 babies breathing, and they have to be doing it for 30 seconds, which all 3 were doing, so that makes me very happy. And every time I go in, they also measure my cervix. I also don't know if I've ever explained this before. Throughout my entire pregnancy, pretty much, my cervix has been over 4 centimeters, which is really, really long, and they look for it to be long. And it's pretty much shrunk just down to about 3 centimeters. So as of Thursday at my appointment, it's still 3 centimeters. They can not necessarily completely count labor out, but they can confidently say that I will not go into labor on my own within the next 2 weeks, as long as my cervix is that certain length. Once your cervix, I guess, gets to below a 2.5 or below, at that point, that's when you would start to see labor signs, and you would just start getting prepared for labor. So right now I am still at 3 centimeters, so I'm really hoping and praying that I do actually make it to that February 6th date. However, if I don't, I know that my babies are big enough, and although they'll probably be in the NICU, it will probably be a shorter stay, and I feel very, very blessed for that. So this past week I've noticed a lot of swelling. Not really in my body yet, but I've noticed a lot of swelling in my hands, my ankles, and my feet. And I know that that's just like a telltale sign of being pregnant or getting towards the end of your pregnancy. So it's not anything that's really worrisome, but they do check for preeclampsia at every doctor's appointment. They check for protein in the urine, I guess that's how they check. I'm clear for that, but it just came on so sudden that it really freaked me out. And I think it's just normal. I'm still able to get my wedding rings on, so that's a good sign. And tell me if anyone has ever experienced this before. It's not in my legs at all, but in my hands. If I make a fist, it feels like my joints are it feels like they're bruised. Like it feels like I just punched something so hard. So every time I squeeze them together, specifically my left hand, it just aches. And I'm almost wondering if it's just from doing hair for so long, and now that my joints are getting fluid in them, I'm just feeling more achy. One scary thing that happened this week was on Thursday after my doctor's appointments, I wanted to spoil myself a little bit, so I went and got a fresh haircut and color, and the appointment took a lot longer than expected, which was totally okay. I'm very happy with my hair, but that meant I was sitting in the same position for way too long, and I didn't realize it while I was there, but when I got home and I took my pants off, my calves were as hard as a rock. There was so much fluid in them that like even my shin bone was hurting. My ankles were so swollen, my toes were swollen, and it just freaked me out. I've never experienced anything like that before. Once I elevated them, I kept them elevated for like an hour while I just relaxed and watched TV. But once I did that, the swelling went down quite a bit, but it was definitely just very scary initially. I'm still not on bed rest, which I'm very thankful for, but I really have to start telling myself to know my limit and be much more strict with myself. Not that getting my hair done was like very strenuous at all, but I should know to sit that long in the same position is probably not the safest thing. So also at my last doctor's appointment, they don't measure the babies every week, so I don't know how much weight they've gained this week. I think it's safe to assume that they're probably about 4 pounds. They gain about half a pound a week now, and almost 2 weeks ago, they were 3 pounds, 8 ounces. All 3 of them were the same. So with that being said, I would hope that they're over 4 pounds by now, but I won't know that until Thursday. So in my next video, I'll be able to tell you how much the babies weigh. But as far as me, I gained 3 pounds in only 1 week, which is a lot. I know some of it is the swelling because this is the first week I've experienced swelling, but I've also strangely have gotten a big appetite back. I had a big appetite at the beginning. I lost it a lot throughout the second trimester, and up until probably like 30 weeks, I had an appetite, but it was just difficult for me to eat because I was so uncomfortable. But as of the last 2 weeks, I'm able to eat large meals, and it's amazing. I don't always feel so great after I eat the large meal, but the fact that I'm at least able to put it in my body and give the babies the nutrients and give myself the protein and the energy, I definitely feel better. And strangely enough, also, I've been a lot less uncomfortable this week. I don't know if it's because the babies have moved so much, but I just feel like I can take a deep breath. I'm absolutely not sleeping at all at night, but I can lay down with more comfort. And which reminds me, last time on Thursday when we checked, all 3 babies were breech. So baby B and C, baby B is over here, baby C is here, and both heads are in my ribs and their butts coming down. And baby A, her head is here with her body coming down. So her butt is sitting directly on my cervix, which is uncomfortable, but at least it's not their entire bodies up in my rib cage anymore, so I can finally take a breath. So I'm not really sure if significant others really ever experience nesting, but I feel like Steve is experiencing it as well as myself. So if you could see my house, you would see that all of my curtains down, every single bed is stripped. It's like bare bones in here. And that's just because I feel like we need to get everything thoroughly cleaned before the babies get here. I'm so worried about their lungs because they are going to be premature that I just want to make sure I have no dust in my house at all. I know that that's inevitable. There will be germs, there will be dust, but if I can at least get my home as clean as possible, then I'm going to do that. So everything is pretty much stripped right now. Tomorrow we'll be getting our carpets professionally cleaned, and then we'll be able to put everything back together, and we will officially be ready for the babies. One other thing that I've done to get ready for the babies is about 2 weeks ago now, I've packed my hospital bag and got everything ready for the hospital, and that is packed in the car ready to go. As far as my hospital bag goes, there is absolutely nothing packed for the babies at all. Just for myself and Steve. And that's because everybody advised me, don't bring anything for the babies, the hospital will have it all. And while I do believe them, now that I've made it to this point, I know that it's much more likely that the babies can wear clothes, maybe not right away, but the babies can wear clothes much sooner than I would have expected them to. And they may be even big enough to do some pictures while we were in the hospital. So the doctor said, go ahead and don't bring a ton of stuff. They have pretty much everything, but if there's a certain outfit that I want them to wear, then definitely bring that. And she even suggested bring the outfit that we want them to come home in. The doctor said that even though they will be premature at 35 weeks, it's likely that they may spend a day in the NICU, and then they could even be at least 1 or 2 babies, not likely all 3, but 1 or 2 babies will be in my room by the end of my stay, and that will be about 3 to 4 days long. So we may even be able to bring 1 or 2 or 3 babies home with us when we leave. So that pretty much wraps up my 32-week update. I do plan on having a video next week, just like I do every week. And just so that you all know for future reference, if I don't have a video up, it's probably because I went into labor on my own, and hopefully I'll post after that. I'm sure I will. But if there's ever a week where I don't have one, that's probably why. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and comment down below. I would love to answer them for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, I had to back up quite a bit because my belly is so big, I feel like it couldn't even get in the frame. So from the front, as you can see, it's a huge round basketball. And from the side, it just goes and goes and goes and goes. So yeah, I'm not sure how much more growing I can do, but I'm sure I will. Okay, thanks for watching.